everyone, Josh here from Fresh Start Customs, and today, as you can see, we're coming to you in the garage for our 3,000 subscriber celebration. I wanted to thank you guys for getting us up to 3,000. That's amazing. I couldn't imagine hitting 3,000 subscribers. My actual hometown was less population than 3,000, so it's pretty amazing to get to this point so far, and I really appreciate you guys. So I wanted to go ahead and just kind of celebrate by telling you where Fresh Start Customs was kind of created and how we ended up here in the journey along the way here. So to get started here, Fresh Start Customs was actually supposed to be a computer company that I was going to make. Whenever I was in high school, I was always into computer classes. I had it all drawn out how I wanted to do it too as soon as I graduated. But then I ended up getting into different tech companies. Like I worked for Best Buy and AT&T and all other sorts of different tech companies. And there was non-competing clauses in their contracts. So obviously I couldn't start Fresh Start Customs up with that. So all in all, that ended up taking a different turn. Found laser engraving in high school as well. So I ended up tweaking it and making it into laser engraving business several years later, as you guys can see. So to show you guys kind of where it all began, it was back in high school. We had our ag class or our FFA class. They kind of coincided with each other. My first laser engrave ever was actually this board right here. It was a Harley Davidson board with some flames. This was supposed to be a cabinet that they were going to have us create, but we never ended up making the rest of it there. So that was pretty cool. That was my first laser engraving. I used to drive Harley Davidson back in high school as well. As soon as I got my permit for the motorcycle, that's the reason why, that's what inspired me to do that. The second one is in high school. I also drove Pontiac Grand Prix. Had like the little racing stripes on it. I thought I was cool back then, but looking back, probably not. But I made this little Pontiac racing thing. Hopefully you can see that. I've got it centered in the camera since I can't see. This was the little box that I made in high school too that stored like anything and everything, whatever you want to put in there. So that is my second engrave that I ever did, was that one as well. So just to show you guys where it all started, and obviously that's a very light engrave on one, and one was a really dark engrave before I even knew there was such a thing as paper masking. So now I mask everything, you don't see any burn marks. I just wanted to show you guys kind of where that all began. And then after that, I started with a K40 laser. So if you don't know what those are, those little blue Chinese lasers that you can buy for 300 bucks. That's where I started off at. That was pretty much more for tinkering and kind of learning about the experience until something better came along. So with K40 lasers, right out of the gate, you have no air exhaust on it, so obviously that's a potential fire hazard, and you got to realign your mirrors quite a bit. So that kind of threw me into the laser world and kind of learning and exploring the different ins and outs of lasers here. So after that, I seen on, I think it was Facebook, or I don't know where I seen it originally, but originally I seen the Glowforge ad. And I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead and jump into their campaign. I know everybody calls it the Kickstarter campaign, but they actually funded their own campaign there. So wherever I came about that, I'm glad that I did, because I ended up jumping into their campaign, one of the earlier starters there. And then kind of waited around 3 years to get the laser because they kept delaying that campaign there. So I won't lie to you guys, I was very close several times to canceling my order just because I felt like I was going to get scammed. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who have actually started the campaign with me kind of felt that way too at the beginning. But now I couldn't be happier. I'm glad that I took that risk, and I'm glad that I went ahead and got the Glowforge. And now I end up owning 3 Glowforges. So it's kind of expanded from there. All with that first Glowforge, I was actually featured in 7 different local libraries, kind of like an art gallery thing that they were doing. So that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool feeling to just start out of the gate and then get recognized really quickly with that. And then the kind of word of mouth spread from there. And then one of the zombies from The Walking Dead seen a project that I did for myself, is that Walking Dead sign, and it was kind of cool just because they actually reached out and said that it was a pretty cool thing. They let me know they were actually a zombie on the movie. It was kind of cool just interacting with somebody who you who you may have seen on TV before, just out of a laser engraving business. Who would have thought something like that? And then another thing that recently happened, well, once last year and once this year, is we actually ended up getting in these little laser engraver journal magazine. This is one, and I think that is on page, let me see here. I think it's on page 14 if you want to see that. Yeah. So right there, I made it in this magazine, got a picture of me, and then my project here was that little Ferris wheel photo holder. And then this was the cover of this one. And I'll go ahead and flip through this to try and find that really quick. There we go. So right here, if you can see that, is the Thanksgiving holder that I made. I just put a bunch of leaves together, painted the leaves, had Happy Thanksgiving in between, and then there's another photo of me in there. So that was a pretty cool accomplishment. I would have never thought that I'd be in a magazine. So, I mean, it's pretty amazing what you can accomplish just from owning a laser or any kind of business. If you're trying to start your own business, go for it. I mean, this all started out as a whole different business back in high school, and it ended up into this, and it ended up you guys liking this and subscribing. For 3,000 subscribers, I can't thank you guys enough. I really wanted to just show you guys the journey here. And then one last thing, if you wanted to see, I actually had one of our subscribers and somebody that I've helped out in the past make this little cool little cup here. It's all wood. It's got our logo on it, Fresh Start Customs on there. So that's pretty cool. I want to thank you. Don't want to name any names just in case you want to be anonymous, but I thank you so much. This has been overwhelmingly awesome, just from something that I never would have even imagined. Just like I said, this was supposed to be a computer thing, and then it ended up into a laser thing. And I wanted to say thank you guys. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love to get to 5,000. That would be even more amazing. And if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check out some of our designs on the link below. If you want to make your own projects and potentially make your own money, you can just use those designs. Go ahead and print the physical items, ship it out to your customers, and you can start your business off right from scratch now. Thanks again, guys, and we'll catch you guys later.